Yo, what is happening, everybody, over on YouTube and Green Room? I think I might have solved my issue where I can now broadcast directly to both Green Room and YouTube at the same time. I got a couple mics going, I got my headphones going, but I think it all sounds good. How do I sound out there right now on YouTube? Got to keep my eye on the Green Room people to see if they're going to come in. But let me know how I sound, and then hopefully when somebody comes into the Green Room, we'll be able to test and see how they sound. Piping directly to the YouTube and the Green Room. So, what's happening, everybody? Let me go over to the YouTube side and check what's going on here. Let's pop out this chat and let's talk a little NBA. What do you say? I think I'll do a quickie. You don't have to do a whole long show, but I wanted to really, this is more of almost a test to see how are we doing with the Green Room. So, no one's joining the Green Room just yet. I guess we'll give them a few more minutes. Let me actually tweet this out over that side to bring everybody. But if you're over on the YouTube side, come on over. You can chop it up with me a little bit. I have a few minutes, and let's see what's happening. I know it's a nice Saturday, so maybe people are a little bit busy. But, hey, we got a bunch of people here. Let's see here. Everything sounds good. Okay. I know someone's going to come in here in the Green Room in a minute and tell me what we're sounding like and then the listeners or the callers in will sound like. But if you're out there and you're amongst the people right now on the YouTube side, I'm sure you have the Green Room app downloaded. If not, find me B-Ball Breakdown if you refresh or whatever. I just pasted the direct link to this show in the description. So what do you want to talk about? I guess we can jump right into Game 3. Tanner wants to know who I have. You know, it's funny because I don't think it's going to be a sweep. So if there's going to be a game the Bucks get, it's probably going to be the one at home. And yeah, I would say that you're going to see a better play from Middleton at the very least, and him shooting better because he likes to shoot. He's very inconsistent as it is. The Drew Holiday thing. Did you all watch the video from yesterday? I'm not so sure there's a huge interest in this series. I saw some of the ratings from Game 1 on Reddit. Someone showed me a link. Did you guys see that? I think it was like 8.5 million people watched Game 1, where in 2019 in the NBA Finals, when it was the Warriors versus the Raptors, they were averaging per game, I think, around 16 million viewers. So, it's down 50% from just a couple of years ago. So it seems like maybe there's less people who want to watch the Bucks and the Suns. I'm actually enjoying it, but the Suns have kind of handled their business pretty easily in the first two games, in my opinion. I know the scores were close for a lot of the game, but it never really felt that way. They felt like the Suns were sort of on their way to taking control of the game each time. I got to tell you, though, Giannis was amazing to see that. Oh, and we have Mez coming in. We got some people coming in over on the Green Room. Mez, can you hear me?
How you doing, Coach?
Oh, I'm doing okay, but it's not sending the audio out to my YouTube side. Say something else.
B-Ball Breakdown.
Man, I can't believe I did this whole thing set up, and here's what happens. When I listen to a Green Room show, it sends the audio out through this. I have this set up here. But then when I connect to my own show, it just sends it out through the damn speaker again. Gosh darn it all. Let me ask you this, Mez. If I tap on this, can you hear this? No?
Oh, try that again.
Let me ask you this, Mez. If I tap on this, can you hear this? You don't hear me tapping my mic right now?
No.
Okay. So something about this mic doesn't want to use, the Green Room doesn't want to use my external mic. I can't believe this. Well, anyway, I guess I'm back. Yeah.
Did you try your AirPods?
Yeah, the AirPods, I sound terrible. In fact, you sound better when you call in holding the phone up to your mouth than I do when I do that. And when I use my AirPods, it doesn't sound good. So as a result, I can't believe it. Why wouldn't it work? It's all plugged in. All right, well, we're going to keep working on that, but I guess I'll do my old standby. I'll hold it up to the mic for the YouTube side so that everybody can hear. What are you thinking about this series so far?
Thinking it's going sort of how I expected it to go. I think there's going to be a new character every night for Phoenix because of how Milwaukee plays. They will off the paint. But Milwaukee winning 4 of the next 5, I'm a little skeptical about that. I think I'm fairly ready to crown the Phoenix champions. What about you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, to me, it's like, is it a gentleman's sweep or not? And of course, barring anything. Oh, and by the way, really quickly for Kenny, I see you in the looking like you can't find me on Green Room. I pasted the link directly to the show in the description. So if you don't see it, did it after I went live because I created the show live after I went live on YouTube. Just see if you can refresh the YouTube side. You'll see the link. Click on that. That should get you into the show. Can you guys hear him? Hopefully you guys can hear him. So anyway, get back to the question from Mez. Yeah, so I'm thinking like, they'll probably win 5, maybe 6, barring some sort of strange, injury that we can't foresee. Kind of like what would happen with like the Nets, for instance. The Nets were up 2-0. I would have said it would have been a gentleman's sweep for that one over the Bucks until Kyrie goes down. So barring anything like that, and I'm worried because Chris Paul is doing a lot of work. Right? A lot of starting, a lot of stopping. We've seen him in the past, like struggle with that, hamstrings and whatnot. So I'm a little bit worried about having him do so much work. But as it is now, he's holding up. They're not going to lose.
Yeah. The way Phoenix has been playing, the way that they execute their sets, I'm definitely comfortable taking Phoenix.
For sure. What would have to happen certainly, let's just say what would have to happen for the Bucks to actually win a game. Giannis went off, man. He looked amazing, and they still couldn't win. Obviously, they had bad shooting from both Middleton and Drew Holiday. And if you watched the video yesterday, what was frustrating from a coaching standpoint was, for me, it appeared that they told Drew, hey, you got to be really aggressive and look for your shot. But it got him so out of his normal game that he was missing the normal passes he would have made that would have opened up easy shots for teammates. And then he was forcing shots. So people wanted to say, oh, he won't miss 8 layups in a game again. 5 of those layups were like heavily contested and not easy to make. He will miss those again. Meanwhile, he's got guys in the corners wide open for shots that he needs to hit. So I get really troubled when I hear coaches, try and change the mindset of a player like that in the midst of a series. But at the very least, let's get back to the question of what would they have to do to at least get the game. Giannis needs to have a big game, obviously. And then Middleton's got to be the one who has to shoot better. I suppose Brook Lopez needs to be somewhat more effective on defense because they're not going to cut his minutes, I guess. And so if that's the case, he needs to be more effective on defense and then, score more points. What are we thinking here? What do the numbers need to look like for Middleton and Lopez? What do you think?
Middleton needs at least 25. And I also think someone off the bench, whether it's Forbes, Portis, or Connaughton, one of them needs to get double digits, definitely.
Yeah, I hear you. They need probably a surprise production from somebody. So that makes sense to me. Kenny, you made it over from YouTube. Way to see you. How's it going, my man?
Hey, doing well. How are you, Coach Nick?
I'm good. Some people have expressed problems getting in here, so hopefully it was not too hard for you.
Yeah, I got it figured out eventually.
Awesome.
Hey, so I wanted to ask you about just your thoughts on DeAndre Ayton. I watched your post-game show the other night, and someone in there said, "Oh, I don't think DA will ever be an All-Star." So I'm biased because I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. I've been living in Phoenix my whole life, but I think that he's going to be an absolute beast. And I think in the playoffs, this is just kind of like his warm-up. I really think that he can be like a top 3 center in the NBA.
Okay. Now, I agree with you. Here's my problem, though. I already lit the YouTube world on fire by saying in the video yesterday that Mikal Bridges is going to be an all-star. So, but, there's room, especially, yeah, there's different positions. So I agree, especially because what I think is going to happen with his progression is, first of all, defensively, he's terrific. I think he's as good as Embiid defensively. Would I say he's as good as like Gobert? Like he's getting there. Listen, he is really, really effective in doing exactly what they need him to do, which is what Gobert does. So let's put him up there pretty close. I have no doubt he will be shooting threes and probably in the corners maybe next year, maybe out in the wing on some pick and pops in the next couple of years. And then with the progression would then be, can he put the ball on the ground a little bit, the shot fake and do some stuff like that? If he does that, yeah. Now, I think the one piece I think he has in his arsenal that they don't let him do is ISO post-ups. They really should do that. There are some moments when Chris Paul is doing his ISO stuff, which I'm like, you know what? go down low and let's see if Ayton can do some damage. Now, we see him do damage down low on duck-ins when he gets a guy like maybe smaller than him or on some movement and they hit him. But I would love to see them just dribble the ball to the left wing, throw it down there in that left block, and let him go to work.
Yeah, I agree. I think that sometimes he's coached to like look for the wing 3-point shooters when he gets the ball down low when they collapse on him. But I really think that he could go up with some of those like little drop step jump hooks, and it would be cool to see him do that. But I really think the Suns are at their best when he is playing like a beast. And so I think going forward, like I would like to see him be like the Suns' number one option rather than Booker, because I think they'll be a better team that way.
Yeah, well, interesting. Now, would Booker be that much better because he's really not, efficient enough? He finally had a decent game shooting last night, but like up until the, maybe halftime, I combined those numbers at some point in the middle of the game, and it was like he was just shooting so poorly. They need some other option here. If they, that's the one thing though. Yeah, if he continues to shoot poorly, I'd be a little bit worried about the Suns grabbing, the next game, right? Like I don't think it's going to cause the Bucks to be able to win 4 in a row or 4 out of whatever. But I'd be interested to see how that works, especially if they win a title this year. They come back next year. They have the glow, right? Chris Paul's back. All those young guys have now gotten hardened experience deep in the playoffs. They have rings. So it would be interesting to see if they have a little different focus going into next year as well, where all of a sudden, like, yeah, we're going to have games where we're just going to go to Ayton down low. We're going to have games where we're going to let's let Bridges attack. He's hitting off the bounce now too. Let's have these other guys see what they can do and take the pressure off of guys like Booker and CP3. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think Booker is generally, just watching him through his career, I think he's usually more efficient than he has been the past couple games, like going back to the Clippers series.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's had a couple tough shooting, and really, I feel like he should be a much higher percentage 3-point shooter. Like his shot form is really good.
Oh yeah, I've been wondering that for years, and a lot of it has to do, I suppose, with shot selection. He'll take a lot of tough ones. But even the ones where he's open, I'd love to see if I get some second spectrum data to see. I sense that he's still low. Because here's the thing, like if you're really a good shooter, like look at Steph Curry on a bad team, he'll hit 45% of his threes, right? Like that's a good shooter. It's an amazing shooter, but like, he even he's on a good team now, he should be shooting better. I feel like if I quickly look it up, he's probably still like average to below average. And you're right, his form looks right, but there are some tweaks with rhythm that I think he could explore, and that would really, really help. I don't know who he's training with, but whoever it is just, I'm sure they're doing all the typical stuff, and they need to open him up to some more, variability training and help him, just explore some different stuff. 34% from 3 this year is just not good.
Yeah, I wonder his rough couple shooting games in the playoffs here, the last couple games. I wonder how much of that you could attribute to nerves as well. It being his first time in the playoffs and then making it to the conference finals and then the actual finals.
I would say the first game maybe of each of those series. I think once you get into the a rhythm and maybe by the second half of game 1, I would think that you're going to get over that a little bit. But certainly by game 2, which by the way we saw maybe game 2 he'd gotten over those nerves. We can't forget that he's playing with a broken nose and he's not playing with a mask, which I'm not exactly sure how he's allowed to do that. It seems like everyone has says you have to wear that mask once you break your nose like that. So those are all factors that he's playing with, and everyone's banged up now. But that's worse than most, I think.
Yeah, his shooting really did dip after he broke his nose.
Yeah. And listen, I broke my nose like 8 times in high school, so I know how hard that is to deal with for sure. So yeah. But, speaking of which, hey, we have a super chat. So, by the way, if you're over on the YouTube side and you want to get my attention right away, obviously super chats are the best way to go. So, we have one from Vunoev Due. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. It looks like you're from perhaps England, I think. Call me Andre. Oh, excuse me. Andre, thank you so much. I think Budenholzer is acting like a bad poker player, falling in love with his hand and not putting Lopez off the bench. It's funny. He could take a page off of out of Ty Lue and really just do some adjustments with the personnel. I know he doesn't have a lot of options here because of DiVincenzo being injured, and he's got to play Jeff Teague 12 minutes in a game. If you're going to do that, you're not going to win the series. So it's like you almost get a pass on that one. But yes, you could do some things. You could maybe go ultra small. I mean, gosh, yeah, go ultra small, but have Giannis guard Ayton, and then you can go with Connaughton and get some more out of that in the starting lineup. Or you can even maybe get Connaughton in there and sit PJ Tucker, because Tucker I don't think is giving you enough either. And maybe off the bench he'll be a little more effective against like some second unit stuff. But they got to do something, right? Like I feel like they got to try. Cutting Lopez's minutes would be the first thing I would do if you don't want to not start him. But then maybe like bench Tucker and put someone else in. Well, so we got Jamal out there. Jamal, what do you think about all this stuff? Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, I do agree that Phoenix is probably going to win this series. I don't really see a way for the Bucks to get back into this, especially with the Brook Lopez minutes. I've been looking at it. I think he has a decent plus minus at least in game 2. I'm not really sure about that, but I think when I looked that up, that was true. So I don't really know if taking out Brook Lopez is just gonna make them better, but I mean definitely playing more minutes with Giannis at the 5, and that might help.
Yeah, no, I think Giannis at the 5 seemed to unlock a couple things. I'm going to tell you what the Brook Lopez plus minus was, which is noisy, but let's look at the plus minus from game 2, right? Game 2 you're talking about, which was -1. Compared to a Middleton who was -15 and Connaughton who was -14. So you know what's funny about Connaughton? He was 4 for 9 from 3, which is really good. But when I was watching it, I felt like he was bricking all the ones that he was getting. It was weird to me to see him actually have shot well at the end of the game. I kind of want to look at to see what he must have had a stretch where he missed a bunch in a row or something, because I was like, he's got to hit those. And next thing you know, he actually was pretty good from there. But listen, they cut Lopez's minutes. He played under 28, so that was their adjustment versus the 30-something he'd normally get. Didn't work out so well. It's a conundrum. I feel bad for Bud on this one. But here's the question: is it really the kind of thing where it's Dante DiVincenzo? DiVincenzo is the end all. He's the guy that's going to solve all this if he was healthy.
I mean, yeah, that's possible. I mean, it's always good to have an extra dude that you can throw in there that you can try. I mean, how many adjustments do you think Bud has really made in this series? I feel like he hasn't done too much more than he usually does, but especially with the pick and roll coverage, I feel like it's just nothing is working.
Right.
When they drop back.
I noticed in game 2 they were making a considerable effort to help one pass away and really take off that initial drive and initial read coming out of the screen.
That's interesting. Wait. Sorry. Say that one more time.
In game 2, the first half, for sure, they made a considerable effort to take away the initial drive and initial read coming off the ball screen. They were helping one pass away out of the corner.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying that. It didn't work. I mean, in the video I showed how they were just giving up, open threes. And that was the thing. It was a weird AI thing that someone has online and on Twitter. They were sharing about how the Bucks were expected to win the game 88% of the time based on the shot quality. But I don't know how that didn't make sense to me, because it's like, if your defense is predicated on giving up open threes, then don't be surprised if they get hot, right? They're going to make maybe more than you might expect because they're open. Even if you want to say, well, that open shots like that are expected to be this, I would say, well, okay, then they might get hotter than that. That's the thing you don't want to do in the modern NBA, and they keep doing that. So a couple other super chats. Let's get that taken care of before we get too far. Brian Holiday, thank you so much. Do players have a hard time fitting around Giannis? Our Coach Bud is not doing a good enough job of getting easy looks for Drew and Chris, or is the personnel of the Bucks just limited? So there is a whisper or two about maybe playing alongside Giannis can make it difficult to be consistent, and that's why perhaps Chris Middleton struggles a bit. That's why Drew Holiday. We've seen Drew Holiday be better without Giannis, in very small sample sizes. It might be worth doing a video on that. How much would YouTube be lit on fire if the title of the video was "Why the Bucks are better without Giannis"? But there might be something to that as far as why Drew Holiday wouldn't play as well. There's a lot of these stagnant ISOs that they lure Giannis into, right? They sag off of him and he just starts to dribble, whatever. That does take people out of rhythm, and that is something. So I don't know. It's a hot take, but I don't know how hot it is.
I feel like Chris Middleton always takes the same shots anyway. Like,
yeah,
it just feels like he just gets to his spot and just shoots over defenders. So I just think like he's just inconsistent in general. Like I don't really think it's because of Giannis or anything.
For Middleton, for sure. And by the way, because Middleton gets to do a lot of pick and rolls, so he gets to create his own shots anyway. So I think that's what you're saying is what I say too. Is like his game doesn't change much around Giannis, only because. Honestly, Middleton's the guy who kind of plays the number one role in that offense. He kind of does in a traditional sense, right? I mean, Giannis gets some ISOs, but it's like any kind of pick and roll stuff, it's usually going to be Middleton running it with the ball handler. But it is, all of a sudden that means to the detriment of like Drew Holiday, who doesn't get the kind of pick and roll stuff he might have been getting like in New Orleans, right? So his game is a lot different there. I was just frustrated to see him, to tell him to be more aggressive, and then to see the shots he ended up taking. That's not the solution. Like that's a weird, caveman version of like an adjustment. So and as far as any other adjustments we might have seen. What was there? There was a little bit of the defensive stuff, but that was about it. And then just Drew trying to be more aggressive, and that's gonna. By the time the middle of the fourth quarter rolled around, Drew kind of figured it out. It looked like a little bit, but that was like it was way too late. By the time that happened, they were down by 12, 13. It was over.
Right, but Coach, I just had a question. I was wondering if Cam Johnson might have caught your eye at all, because we all know he's a knockdown shooter, but I think. Off the ball, he's been making some nice reads and some timely cuts, and even defensively, he's been keeping guys in front of him. I think he drew a couple of jump balls on Giannis.
He got one I can picture right now in my head for sure, and I love Cam Johnson. I think I might have said. Well, let's see. Did I do one? So I was going to do a video of players to watch right before the season started, and it was going to be on the Hawks who came back, not DeAndre Hunter, but. Why am I being confused? What's his name?
Cam Reddish.
Oh, Cam Reddish. I think it's because his name's Cam, too. Cam Reddish. And then all of a sudden, DeAndre Hunter started doing really well and was like kind of doing the role that I thought that Reddish was going to get. But on the other side, Cam Johnson. I think I even did a video on Cam Johnson, didn't I? Am I going crazy? From his time in at Carolina. Maybe I'm crazy, or I will do one. Either way, if I haven't, I'm going to do one soon. I love Cam Johnson's game. I really do. Yeah, he's a very just fundamentally sound. He's always just on balance, and jump shot looks great. He can put the ball on the ground. He's a big mobile guy that can play defense. Great pickup for them, and really, really helpful. Like to the point where he's an X factor in this finals. Oh, before I forget, Gabby John Maduma, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't see a question in there, but maybe just wanted to give a little shout out. So thank you so much, Gabby, Brian, Andre, all you guys out there on the YouTube side doing super chats. Thank you guys so much. By the way, if you're out there on the YouTube side, I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I got a couple more minutes on this beautiful Saturday. I get back to family, but I wanted to test this thing out first with the whole simulcast on Green Room and YouTube. Kind of a dud because all of a sudden I launched the show and the mic that I have plugged into my phone just doesn't work. It doesn't want to use it. I don't know. It's weird. Anyone ever hear of a mobile app that will simply ignore what the external mic that's plugged into the phone? It's weird to me. Nonetheless, we have any other questions out there while we start to move on toward the end of the show? Yes, go ahead.
Hey, wait, am I the one talking?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You haven't talked. You haven't asked a question.
First of all, Coach, I love your videos. They are really cool. And what I wanted to ask is, with now first Darius Saric and in Game 2, Torrey Craig is injured. How would you rate the possibility of the Bucks to win? I mean, they don't have Dante DiVincenzo, and even with Giannis almost breaking his leg, he's still the only one who really delivers. I mean, we need to see something of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, but how would you rate their chances for the next few games? Do you see any possibility for them to win in 6 or 7?
Oh, no. I don't think they're going to win this series, but I do think they're going to win Game 3, and that's good reason for why. They lost Saric, who is, helpful with just giving minutes, giving the rest of the starters. And I thought Torrey Craig was doing really nicely with hitting some timely threes and playing some defense. Do we know, is Torrey Craig out for Game 3?
We only know that that's gonna be day-to-day evaluation. But I think for Game 3 he will most likely be out.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's going to hurt for sure. So if there's going to be a game the Bucks are going to take, it's going to be the one where they're home. The crowd's going to be really into it. The Suns are now shorthanded. So that would probably be the game that I would say the Bucks get. But they probably only get one. I would be surprised if they got two in Milwaukee in this first trip back.
Yo, what's up, Coach?
What's up, Emmanuel?
I had no idea that you live streamed on YouTube through Green Room.
Well, I do, although the last few times I've had to do it very suboptimally by holding the damn phone up to the damn microphone because, and I thought I solved it. I spent this money. I was testing it all the last couple of days. Man, I'm going to have to talk to the Green Room techs and find out why their app acts like this. But nonetheless, thanks for being here. I'm glad I could have a big audience on both sides.
Yeah, no problem.
So, yeah.
Hey, Coach. Just a quick question here. So I remember, I've been watching your videos for a long time. I remember when you were covering the Suns back in the 2010 playoffs and calling Amari Stoudemire a pussy.
I did?
But my question is...
Wait, I must have... I at least bleeped that. I wouldn't have said that out loud, did I?
It's for sure. If you go back and watch those videos from back then, you for sure say that on the video.
Without a bleep.
Without a bleep.
I mean, it was 2010, so...
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's even like I binge watched during COVID How I Met Your Mother, which I had never heard of, never had seen anything. And that was from like 08 till whatever, 12. And it was funny, but yeah, there's so much of the stuff like you can't say anymore. And I suppose I did the same thing then too. So I might have to find that one and I don't know, figure that one out. But that's embarrassing. But thanks for being in the conversation for so long.
No. Sorry to embarrass you. It's still funny to me, at least. But my main question was, if you had to compare like the Steve Nash Suns, I guess at their peak versus this Phoenix Suns team, who do you think is better?
Ooh, that's a video right there, isn't it? That would be a great video.
Love to see it.
Who would better? Because you got Nash versus CP3. You got Stoudemire versus I guess not really Booker, but like Ayton or whatever. Like it's different team, different whatever. But I don't know, man. This is a much better defensive team, like hands down. And so as a result, I probably have to pick, this year's team for sure. Right? That's not a hot take, right? I don't think.
You would have to, yeah.
No, I think that's good.
Especially if they win a championship.
Some people are saying, like, hey, this, there needs to be an asterisk by this team.
No, well, the asterisk to me would be that they had they got benefits from injuries for their opponents every single round, which, I get it when you're talking about one round or whatever, like we've seen that a lot, but I will have to go through it. I don't know if I can remember a team that's gotten all the way to the finals and probably win, having played, shorthanded opponents every round.
The Warriors, the first championship the Warriors had, they got, let's see, who did they play? I think they played like the Grizzlies without Mike Conley. They know Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving in the finals.
That was two. Okay. What are their two series?
I can't remember those series exactly, but I'm pretty sure they played someone in the conference finals.
I feel like, for Houston, somebody was injured.
Okay. Yeah, if I had both hands, I would quickly open up a tab and check it, but because I have to hold my damn phone to the mic, I can't. Thank you, Green Room. Okay. So, yeah, but really quickly, let me interrupt you for 1 second because I got a couple more super chats. Just want to make sure I want to get the shout-outs on the YouTube side because obviously those are important. Gabby, John, thank you. Oh, so now you have the comment is, can Giannis still reconstruct his shooting form or rhythm? Because as far as I can remember, his rookie year shooting form was more fluid. And then Brent Howell, thank you. Hello, Coach. Really appreciate the content. Not to sidetrack the finals conversation, but how do you feel about the U.S. Olympic team? I feel like there's a good mix of offensive and defensive players. Okay, so those are the two super chats. I'll get to the Olympic thing, and I think in a minute I have a few more minutes, so we'll get to that before I'm done. But wait, we were just talking before I interrupted you guys. What were we just talking about? Oh, it was the Suns versus the Suns, 2010 Suns or whatever, 2007 Suns. Is that what we were talking about?
We talked about that, and then something about injuries.
Oh, the injuries. Oh, yeah, sorry. Right, exactly. Thank you. That's why you guys are here.
I was muted.
No worries. The injuries. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, that would be the one asterisk, but everyone benefits and or suffers from the injuries. It's not like a new thing. But someone needs to look through it and figure out whether or not, like the Warriors, for instance, in their first championship, did they benefit all 4 rounds? It is something that's, it's been helpful to the Suns without question. I mean, listen, I thought the Suns were about to lose the first round against the Lakers until AD goes down. I don't think that's a hot take either. I know the Suns fans really hate it when I say it, but I'm objectively looking at that. They were up 2-1 in the Lakers in control of Game 4. 2-1 in control of Game 4 until AD goes down right before halftime. So,
yeah, I mean, you can say they went up 2-1 because Chris Paul.
Right.
He got injured, it looked like he couldn't dribble like most of the time.
Right. That was true. Yeah, I mean that was okay. So that was a factor the first game when he got hurt and he was out, and then the first game he came back, he was definitely like 50%. I think by the second game back, he was 70-some%. Like that was everything. The Suns fans wanted to say that he was like 5%, which is nonsense. But here's the problem: whatever he was. If AD doesn't get hurt, they're going to be down 3-1, and they're probably not going to win the series. So I don't know if you think if it's unfair to say it that way. I don't know, but the bottom line is it looked like the Lakers were about to take that series.
AD went out in the second quarter in Game 4, right? Because I don't remember him playing well.
Yeah. They were playing well enough where I think I wanted to say they're up 7, 8, 9 in the first half. Like they had controlled that game. You know what I mean? If you go up 3-1, like LeBron's not going to lose a series, I don't think. I mean, it's possible, but it just didn't seem that way. So yeah, I mean that's how it looked to me. And so it's amazing how they overcome that, and then here they're going to win the finals.
I just remember people saying even without AD, LeBron is 7. I remember hearing.
Yeah, everyone needs help.
I mean, for sure. The Suns have gotten lucky, and I mean, I'll take it for sure. We've gotten unlucky so many years. Just going back to all the Steve Nash years and the Barkley years, losing the 3-1 to Houston and all that stuff. But the main issue that I have with that argument is people are like, oh, well, they got lucky. It's like, well, what are they supposed to do? Like,
right.
Lose?
I don't see it as lucky. I don't see it as lucky. I just see it as. Yeah, it's just what it is. What it is. It happens.
They're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like they're beating the crap out of these teams, who maybe they're down a player or two.
For sure. Yeah. So and it is the nature of the thing. I mean, the only thing that I would point to is like that would be considered lucky, whatever. Is that like every round they benefited from that, which is I think a little unique. It's not necessarily lucky, it's just unique. So whatever. It is what it is. I'm really excited though to see this because they've never had a title, and we deserve to see other teams win. I don't know if the NBA feels so good about it because like the ratings, like I mentioned in the very beginning of the show, are like at 50% of what they were in 2019, and they've been going down year over year since the bubble anyway. So it shows you that some of the people, I guess, the fan base is are much smaller for the Bucks and for the Suns. I could validate that knowing how my videos do on these teams in the last several years anyway. Yeah. So but it's nice to see a little bit of difference. The Raptors get one, the Suns are going to get one, the Bucks are in the finals for the first time since '74. I mean that's nice too. So good storylines. But next thing you know, the Hawks are going to be the team that's going to be in the finals often. The Suns could definitely be in the finals again. Going forward, even if the other guys get healthy, they're still really formidable and a really good team. So I would they're going to be favorites in a lot of these series.
Yeah, I guess hopefully the Suns get this one before the NBA decides. So our ratings suck, so we need to rig it.
Or something, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be rigged. It could just be, there's ways, that they can influence that. It's a little bit more than they do. So, yeah, it's a business. It's like, how are they going to be able to charge the billions of dollars when, these ratings are going down and down and down, right? That's interesting. And then that, by the way, that would change the collective bargaining agreement. It would obviously changes the salaries. So it'll be interesting to see in the next few years if it continues to shake out this way. By the way, the other problem could very well be not that it's the Suns and the Bucks in the finals. It could be that the style of play has sort of gone in the direction that a lot of fans are not interested in watching anymore, and it might take them a little while to kind of get back to a style that we like to watch, that they want to play. You know what I mean? We might just sort of be in a weird convergence here where until it levels back out again, the ratings are going to be down. I don't know. It's interesting. But well, listen. Let's talk about the U.S. Olympic team for a second, because I want to make sure as a super chatter we take care of all the business there. Let's look at the roster for a second, because I was kind of curious. It wasn't fresh in my mind. I just pulled it up. Bam, Beal, Booker, Durant, Zach LaVine, Holiday, Draymond, Jeremy Grant. Okay, I forgot about that. Dame, Love, Middleton, and Tatum. Now, I think this is not updated, right? Do I feel like a couple of these guys have dropped out since then?
I heard something about Sadiq Bey, but I don't know.
Oh, love Sadiq Bey.
Like on the team or whatever. I already got like called up or something.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No,
well,
it's because there are 3 players I think that are in the finals. Like they're playing the finals, so they can't be in the USA team. So they called up some of the younger guys. So they called up Sadiq Bey, they called up Keldon Johnson, and Darius Garland, because Book's in the finals. I think CP3's in the finals, and Giannis, so they can't play in the USA.
But CP3 wasn't even on the team to begin with.
Yeah, CP3 is not on this list, at least, of the 4-8 of the 12 guys, but on their on the website. But maybe if I were CP3, I wouldn't do it. I mean, he's already gotten his gold, and he needs his rest. I wouldn't do it if I was KD either. I'd be very concerned, just because he's gone through Achilles tear. And he's back at like 100%. Like I wouldn't want to screw around with that too much. But hey, listen, represent your country is really important. And I'm sure it's fun too to play with such great players like that.
It was Holiday and Middleton and Booker. Those are the 3. I got it wrong.
Holiday. Oh, okay. Holiday's dropping out.
No, they're in the finals right now. So
I see. Right. Yeah, right. Holiday on there is interesting. I mean, that's an interesting call. I mean, I like him. I think he's great. A really good player. But it seems like there would have been other guys. But I suppose it also means that
John Morant's not, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, John Morant. What?
Or De'Aaron Fox, or anyone could have been over Holiday.
Yeah. I mean, even like throwing Draymond out there. I mean, and obviously they want him for the defense, which is important. It's good to see they're doing that. And they got Bam too. I mean, this is a pretty good defensive team. Jeremy Grant, Kevin Durant. That'll be a good. They'll play some defense, and then Middleton too.
Crazy that Steph's gonna retire without a gold medal.
Who is?
Steph. Assuming he doesn't play when he's like 40 or something. That'd be crazy.
Wait. Who are you talking about?
Steph, because
Steph.
Yeah. Because 2016 he didn't play. I'm assuming just to recover from the loss or.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, he was in the 2014 FIBA thing, but it's not that.
No.
He was rehabbing after 16, and he wanted to rest after this year. So unless he does when he's 37 or whatever.
Yeah.
And 2012, either he wasn't good enough or he got hurt again.
Yeah. So to cover Brent's question, by the way, when he's asking about the team, he feels like there's a good mix of offense and defense, and that's absolutely true. A lot of good defense out there, which is going to be important because you know what, these teams are much better year over year on the international side. They play longer together. They have a lot of guys who are in NBA experience and EuroLeague experience. So they'll have the work cut out for them. There's going to be I would imagine there's going to be a game or two where it'll be a little bit close. It'll be interesting. Not that they're going to lose, but I feel like we might see some interesting stuff there. So I'm anxious to see how they do on the Olympic side. We have another super chat as we're going to get to the end of this, and I know it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I got to get back to the wife. Kyle25 asks, feels like there's a lot of NBA players who do not like Giannis's play style. Example, Dre, CJ, RJ, Perk, Steven Jackson, and other players' comments on Twitter. Thoughts? Well, I will say this. I was the first guy to get on the Giannis train. I really liked, especially when they put him at the point guard. It seemed like it was unfair, but that was when he was 19 and had the whole world in front of him. The jump shot, and that was also what Gabby asked me about his shooting form. I want to talk about that in both these questions. I did the video. I'm assuming that most of you guys saw it, where I showed you how he looked as a rookie and how the form was really, really good, and he shot pretty well. And then somebody decided to change the whole thing, and now here we are, where he cannot shoot at all, and it's a nightmare and a mess. And when you hear people talking about eliminating extra motion, when you try and do it and you say things like that, Giannis is what you get. Okay, so the answer isn't eliminating motion for unwanted whatever in a jump shot. The answer is to find the natural rhythm of each player, and that is what Giannis had beautifully, and they ruined it. I don't think it's going to come back. I think it's too far gone. I don't think he's got the right coaching anyway. If he did, then maybe, but I haven't seen evidence that whoever's working with him really understands that. So that's really unfortunate. Now, as far as the play style, I mean, I get frustrated because I don't like players who are so deficit skilled in certain areas, particularly like shooting, where you can guard him 10 feet off. That rubs me the wrong way at this point. With the way, like the kind of player I like Giannis. He's a great teammate. He works really hard. He makes some amazing plays, but I just get turned off a lot when I see that kind of deficit from that skill. Now, the other thing I don't like is that what I've said on Twitter a lot is it looks to me as if he's training without defense for his moves, because so many times he'll just barrel into the defender, and I've been warning for a year that he is going to really hurt somebody by doing that, because he doesn't even recognize where the defender is who has rightful position. He hurts, Torrey Craig is now out or might be out, and luckily it wasn't serious. But that's the kind of stuff. I'm much more worried about like elbows that go flying in there too. But certainly what he did and just barrel into him, hurt him. That's a problem, and I that's what I react to the most about that stuff. And it would be easy to train that, where he can have better visual recognition and have a better move to and you're expected to get it. You can't just go through the defender. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But I'm getting the evil eye text from the wife right now. I'm supposed to go out and hang out with her. So, listen, great test of this thing. Nice to know that I just spent this money on this damn mic that doesn't seem to work. But maybe we'll figure it out sooner than later. And I'll get it working so that you can get pristine sound on both the YouTube side and the green room. But thank you guys for coming over. Thank you guys all for Andre, Brian, Gabby, Brent, and Kyle for the super chats over on the YouTube side. Stay tuned. We'll have a game tomorrow, and maybe we'll do a live post-game show after that. I think that we'll do that. So stay tuned for that one. We'll do it over on the Hot Mic app, which you can call in, and also interface is much better. So anyhow, thanks all for being here. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You win,